Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Feeling Myself, the podcast. I'm your host, Brandon, and this is my friend Romain and his boyfriend, Rakeem. They're my favorite couple right now, so I had to have them on the first episode of Feeling Myself, the podcast. Just to give you guys a little back history of why I wanted to start this, I am really kind of growing big on TikTok, and a lot of people have been asking me to do a podcast, basically voicing my opinion on different topics and my perspective on certain situations. So that's what inspired me to do a podcast. So without further ado, let's get right into the first episode. Okay, the first question we have for the couple is, how did you guys meet?
Take it. I can take it. We actually met on Facebook dating.
Okay.
Um, Tinder wasn't working. I didn't want to step onto Jack,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Because that's a
said,
whole nother
"That's a whole
world.
nother
You
world."
can't go there looking for love.
Although it depends on the user. So if your mindset is to find a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of things you have to weed through to actually locate that. So
Yes. Yeah.
I said, let me take a different route and try Facebook dating, and nearly instantly we matched, and I didn't think I was gonna hear from him again, but I did.
You know, when you get the second call, they say you did something good.
Um,
No, it was interesting because I was on Tinder, Hinge, okay, but then I went on Facebook dating and
Mm-hmm.
it was the same. So like I would just leave it on sometimes and then I would just go on a little bit. So then I saw his profile. He liked
Mm.
me, and
So they
that
have it where like you can like a person, but not
Mhm.
necessarily message them.
right, they would
Okay.
have to like you
Back.
and match before you can.
They
say
allow you
anything.
to message.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
So I actually was on my way to a cruise. You
Mm.
know, I love my cruise.
Yeah, I know you. You love. He love a good old cruise.
And we're going on
So-
one next month.
And we're going on one next month. But I was on my way to the port,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw it, and I'm in the car and in the Uber, and I told my brother who was going with me, I was like, "Oh wow, he just texted me." And we were like texting back and forth, the 20-minute ride. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I just said, "Hey, I'm about to hop on this cruise for like 5 days. I'm not, trying to stop the conversation, but letting you know that I won't be available for 5 days." And after 5 days, I did come back
So is that the reason why you said that you did think
Mhm.
that? So you thought that was like an escape route from
Yeah, I
him,
was
pretty
like,
much.
"Oh, okay. I mean, we matched, but I mean, okay."
Yeah, how you gonna just tell somebody? You gonna just I talked to you in 5 days,
during the
like
first conversation,
right?
But look
That's
at us
what
now.
happened.
It worked.
It
Yeah.
worked.
Okay. The second question is, what would you say is your definition of true love, or your definition of love? Period.
Oh, that's a tough one. There's so many people with different definitions because love is different for
Yes.
everyone.
Yes.
I would say for me, it's unseen, unheard, yet still patient,
Mm-hmm.
caring,
Mhm.
compassionate,
Mhm.
forgiving, accepting, supportive. It's a bond.
Mm-hmm. And the willing to accept the person for who they are.
Mhm.
I think that's unconditional love when you can accept the
Unconditional.
person for exactly who they are.
And
Yeah.
that's, I think, what a lot of the community lack. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's more so due to what was ingrained in us as children.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like we're the era that's changing. So
Mm-hmm.
I see
Okay.
good things coming from it.
You
but
have
yeah.
any different perspective of what's
No,
your definition?
I would agree. The same. I think there's different aspects of how you show love, right?
Mhm.
There's the five love languages, right?
Mhm.
You have to understand we all love in different ways.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that the way I love, as long as you accept how I love you,
Mm-hmm.
and because a lot of people tend to kind of focus on, well, he's supposed to be touching me and all that stuff, but physical touch might not
Be their love language.
of loving a person,
Mhm.
right? It could be, I just want quality time, sitting here and just watching TV. That's me, loving you because I'm giving up my time when I could be doing anything else,
Yeah.
something else, and I'm here. right? And then one of the aspects of love is when your partner is down, will you be there for them,
Yeah.
right? In sickness and in health,
Mhm.
financial, all aspects of life, right?
Mhm.
Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, will you be there for that person?
Mhm.
And that's also a test for love.
Yeah,
So
to
that's
see how strong it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
My definition of love is for someone to be able to speak to my soul, to be able to hug my spirit, to be able
Nurture
to
you.
unlock me without needing a key or a map to do so. I think love is paying attention, because I think if you pay attention to a person enough, you can kind of maneuver through them much
Mhm.
better. In today's time, people don't really take time to learn each other so that they would know how to love this person, So,
I think it's more so the conversations aren't being had.
mm-hmm,
The necessary conversations aren't being had.
mm-hmm,
And with you having so many opportunities to date just in the palm of your hand,
mm-hmm,
why would you focus in on one situation that you in the moment feel isn't nurturing you the way you need?
mm-hmm.
It just leaves everything open for other opportunities. And until you make a decision to choose each other and stay in it and work through it,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a revolving door.
Yeah,
one
it's
of the
gonna be in
things,
and out.
one of the things I want to add to that is that people think love is easy,
Yeah,
right?
mm-hmm.
They see the movies, they're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, it's so they one day and then I'm in love with this person and everything is, but
Mm-hmm.
the art of love is to stick to it,
Yeah.
right? It is hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's the good days, the bad days, I wouldn't say bad, the okay days.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The ones where like, you know, to work through it and then get back to the happy place.
Yes.
Like, 'cause that's where a lot of people, once they get like a negative, they'll, okay, I'm over it,
Mm-hmm.
and now move on to the next.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, a lot of people say they're in love and not in love. Are you really?
Right.
Did you work on it?
Right.
How were you in love?
Right. So I think it's like a job. Love is a job that you really have to show up for every single day. And you have to have two people in order to be able to fulfill that need on both sides. I feel like this: two people can move a couch extremely easy, but if one person is trying to pick up a couch alone, he's gonna struggle. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so make sure you get you somebody that can help you pick up the couch on each end. Okay, and that way you can just ride off in the sunset. Okay, and like my friend said again, love is not easy. So please get that perspective out of your head. It's difficult.
Tale.
Okay, it's not a fairy tale. So the next question would be, how do you guys feel about threesomes? Are you into it? Are you not into it? If you are, why?
I'll start. I'll go ahead with that one.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is I'm sorry, everyone,
No.
but I'm a one-man person. I I realized I was a one-man person. I always thought growing up that I was meant to be with one person and I could see myself just being with that one person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but then one of my past relationships, they were interested in me exploring my sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
right, from a physical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to open it up.
Mm.
So
basically, an open relationship.
right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the interactions with these individuals, we were always together. It was never like I go by myself. Like it was always together.
Okay.
But when we would interact, I would be sitting there watching them do whatever, and I'm like, my emotion starts to beat in it, and I just didn't like it. So then over time, I would just kind of avoid doing it, and that turned into issues down the line. So yeah, I said, after that relationship ended, I said I would never go back into
that type of environment.
open anything. Like if that's what you want, I'm happy for you. Pursue that, but
no. What about you, King?
So for me, it's a no.
Mm-hmm.
One of my very first relationships was poly, so it was three of us in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
the experience alone, the initial high of it, you
Mhm.
know, you're cloud nine, you have two individuals, but once that wears off,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot to really unpack.
Yeah.
You know, the competition, the uncomfortableness when there's a disagreement, and so it's a lot to consider before making that decision. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, it'll be a no.
I can understand that because sometimes dealing with one person is a lot. So I can imagine dealing with two people. Like that is
And-
like too much.
And imagine joining in on somewhat of a union that was already created.
Oh, so it's kind of
So
like
it's
you're the
like-
outsider.
It makes you feel
Yeah.
like you're the outsider
Yeah.
because the bond was already there.
Right.
So yeah.
Because remember, poly, majority of the time, it's
Mhm.
you. The third person is coming into
Into.
something
Yes.
that already
Mhm.
exists. It's
Mhm.
not like you go and
Meet three
of you
people.
Like, oh, let's get into a
Yeah.
relationship.
And-
So like you
Yeah.
guys all three are learning at the same time.
Mhm.
It's more so find a couple
Mm-hmm.
and then you are
Invited in.
Yeah. And keep in mind, everyone likes the new toy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So no, it,
Okay, in my opinion on threesomes, I would say that I'm not really open to them with someone I love. But if it's just somebody that I'm just kind of seeing in the moment, I'm open to it, but not with somebody I love. Like my husband or somebody that I deeply care about, I would not be able to sit there and visually see them having sex with somebody else and feel at peace with that decision. I just wouldn't, you know. No offense to the people that are. We just voicing our opinion.
Right.
no offense.
Um,
To each their own.
okay.
And that's where we have the ability to we talk about love. How do you love? Love is a part of the physical aspect too, right?
Mhm.
And there's many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
People are asexual with like people are with somebody or they would like maybe a foursome where it's couples and on couples,
Yeah.
right? It all depends on what you like. And one of the things is that in order for you to know what you like, you kind of have to experience it,
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
which
yes.
can be risky,
Mhm.
right? Depending on what state you're in
Mhm.
with a person.
Mhm.
So,
I agree to an extent because you don't always have to experience it. I think that you can learn from other individuals and their experiences as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm. And they can kind of educate you on how you may feel
Mhm.
possibly about the situation. Yeah. The next question we have for this lovely couple is do you think a man can be with one person for the rest of his life?
a man in general, like I guess if
One
I take,
person can be with one
Yeah.
person for
If-
the rest of their life.
If I take what I said previously,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, when I'm in a relationship, I'm tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So it's really just that person only.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't see flirting. I don't see like I'm not gonna say a person isn't attractive,
Mhm.
but the whole like I want to pursue them,
Engage with them.
engage with them,
Yeah.
do something with them.
Yeah.
It never really
Crosses your mind.
crossed my mind. But that's an opinion for me.
Right.
Others can say no, want to do different experiences. Like, how do you know if the one person that you decided to be with is really the person?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have to like be with others
Mhm.
to kind of understand who is your person,
Mhm.
right? And but no,
That's
I
what
can see myself,
Yeah.
old school.
Traditional.
Traditional.
Mhm.
What about you?
I definitely agree
You agree?
100%. I think that men in general, we do get a bad rep
Mm-hmm.
concerning being monogamous.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the gay community. I feel like it's not a lot of that. Like it's a whole lot of open relationships.
But I also believe that it's so, like I said earlier, it's so much opportunity.
Yes.
You know, and then a lot of these couples, they've been together for so long, they kind of hit road bumps or speed bumps in their relationship.
I feel like they lose interest in each other in a way.
But they still have love for
Yes,
each other.
yes.
So it's, in a sense, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I love what we have become, what we have accomplished. But this is what I want to pursue.
Right.
And unconsciously, an individual would think, well, I love this individual and he's having this conversation with me. So
Mhm.
out of respect,
Mhm.
why not attempt or, allow
Mhm.
him to have whatever it is that he wants? But
Mhm.
does that feed you? Does that
Right.
nurture you? Is that
Mhm.
what you want? Because a lot of the times you could be on two different pages
Mhm.
and you're only doing it to please that individual because you've built this bond for so many years.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Let's see
Now,
what's
what do
next.
you what did you
What do you
Oh,
think?
good question. Um, I definitely feel like a person can be with one person for a very long time. I also feels like it depends on what type of guy you're dealing with. Some guys have a desire to deal with multiple people. They have a desire to lay with multiple people. So if you have a very upstanding type of guy who have principles, morals, and values about life, he's gonna be a man that is only designed for one person. But if you're dealing with what they call street material or dogs per se, then they're not gonna commit to just you. So, ladies, when you're dealing with a dog, he's not going to commit with you, okay? To just you. So make sure that when you're picking your husband and when you're picking your guy, that you're picking somebody who is upstanding, who have principles, who have values, who have morals about himself, and most importantly, who have goals. Because someone who have goals are gonna want to, make a union with somebody and achieve those goals together, like you're supposed to.
I agree.
Hmm.
I think the dogs or the cheats or whatever,
Hmm.
I think at one point they were those individuals.
Yeah.
And because they were in on both end, men
Hmm.
and women, and
Hmm.
because they were done wrong, they
Hmm.
then take on a different perspective and just get out there and enjoy
But my
themselves.
thing is, I always tell people, don't let life lessons become a life sentence for you. Meaning,
Hmm.
in life on your journey, you're gonna go through things. You're gonna get heartbroken. You're gonna, get upset about certain things. You're gonna get done wrong. But don't let those things linger into your life, and don't let those things change your perspective of what you feel like love and life is.
Agree.
and one of the things that
Hmm.
um, right now in 2024, probably since 2020,
Hmm.
it's been more people are putting more awareness to it
Hmm.
is your mental,
Hmm.
right? Going to therapy.
Hmm.
I had a therapist
Hmm.
to understand who I am,
Hmm.
accepting me,
Hmm.
being comfortable in my skin.
Why am I feeling the
What
way that I'm feeling?
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
How do I feel love? Like, and
Hmm.
really ask those questions. Um, if you're not actually having those questions and doing those self reflections, all you have is what you've seen in the past and what things were done. If your family was dysfunctional, where like one of your parents was unfaithful to other parent,
Hmm.
or like you had multiple people, if you're in a family but you had multiple people coming in and out,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
it really does something to the mind to
Hmm.
say like, well, I never saw someone,
Hmm.
I never saw real love or
Hmm.
how you should love a person.
So
So
how can you
how
want
do I
something?
know
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
the only thing I'm seeing is what the TV does? And
Right.
remember, TV is storytelling,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
It's not always going to be that way
Hmm.
because in my mind, if I feel like that's how you're supposed to love somebody, well, they don't necessarily um, talk about the bad stuff, or
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
a bad thing happened, it
Hmm.
only happens for 5 minutes and then they're back in love again.
Hmm.
So when you have someone in real life, you go through something bad,
Hmm.
you're like, okay, in 5 minutes it's going to be good,
Hmm.
but it's not.
Hmm.
How do you feel about it? Like, what do I do?
Right.
So you have to do self reflection
Hmm.
and always learn to improve and be there for yourself, but also for
Hmm. And also like you just said, seek the help that you need. You know what I mean? I feel like in the Black community, we don't really glorify going to a therapist, um, or per se talking to people we don't know or strangers. But sometimes it can really be very helpful. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, I think you really should go and talk to somebody. That would kind of help you sort out whatever it is that's going in your head that don't nobody really understand but you. Yeah, it'll kind of help you. So go and get the help if you feel like that's what you need. Don't be ashamed, don't feel bad for going to do those type of things. That's very grownish to do. Okay, in your opinion, how do you keep a man?
do you keep a man?
Mm,
I don't think you can keep a man, to be completely honest.
okay.
A man is there because he wants to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he doesn't,
He's not gonna be there.
he's not going to be there.
Okay, good point.
So I don't necessarily think it's you keeping a man. I think that you can do things that can entice him more and make him want to be there.
Okay.
But man doesn't want to be there. He's
He's not gonna be there.
there.
Okay.
And then if he wants to be there, or if you're doing things that he deem attractive or husband or wife material,
Mm-hmm.
then you know
It will go in that
leaves the
direction.
door to
Mhm.
it leaves it open for conversation.
And I would like to answer the question as well. How to keep a man? I would say it's things that you can do that will run him off if you're doing things that are quote unquote turning him off. So it's very important to ask your guy, what is it you expect from me? What it is you want from me? Um, and what are your desires? And see if you can fulfill those things. Because in a way, when you are in a relationship with somebody, you is the only person that this person rely on for a lot of different things. So it's very important that you succeed in their needs in those areas, So make sure that you do whatever it takes to keep your man, whatever that may be.
And one of the biggest things is just listening.
Listening.
Just listening.
And I just made a video about this too. It's important to listen more than you speak, because when you listen, you will learn way more versus you speaking. So that's another jewel for you guys to keep.
The art to that.
Mm-hmm.
What it is true.
Why do you feel like a lot of men are turning gay right now? Or why do you feel like being gay is popular right now?
That's a good question,
Mhm.
because I came out early. I came out in high school. I'm 37.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came out, it wasn't a thing.
Mm-mm.
You were still getting jumped
Mhm.
and clowned and made fun of,
Mhm.
teased, bullied, however you want to phrase it. Those things were happening. Now I think it's more. I think it's more acceptable to venture out and experience new things. Sexuality is really big right now. So there's like no titles or anything like that. You just go out and you explore. So I think society is just finally coming around and seeing, I'm not going to say us, but understanding that you don't have to be necessarily placed in a box.
Yeah.
And
I think more men are free now. I feel like back then, men was like pretty much caged. Like, oh, this was the definition of a man. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. You couldn't say this. And I feel like now everything is so much free that men feel more comfortable about exploring their sexuality. More so, too, I would like to add to this. I feel like back in the days, it wasn't a lot of, no disrespect, but it wasn't a lot of very attractive gays back then, I feel like now we're kind of coming through. Not like from your perspective, but back then, baby. But like, it wasn't a lot of attractive gays, and I feel like now we're very attractive. We come in all different shapes, sizes, forms, and we kind of competition too.
I mean, let's call it what it is.
What?
We are in our 30s and we look better in some people's 20s. And sorry to say, no shade.
Yeah.
But the heterosexual males that's in their 30s are looking like,
Yes.
big bones.
We keeping up pretty good.
We dress nice. We
smell good.
We smell good.
We're good at what we do.
We make sure that when we walk out, we are presentable.
Yes.
And I think more now, if you notice, let's take Hollywood for now, right? You're seeing a lot of men in, when the social media influencers or big celebs, right? When they go on the red carpet, typically it's just a black tux and that's it. Now it's color. Now it's crop top. Now it's a tuxedo suit with like a little dress or a little trench. Like, they are pushing the
boundaries,
envelope of what it means to, be a man, masculine fashion, right? And now more people, more celebs, more people that you look up to are saying, "Hey, it's okay.
Yes,
my son is not necessarily putting religion and what like history kind of brought like told us what a man should be.
Because when
what
we
a
was
woman
growing,
should be.
because when we was growing up, it was all about that's not what the Bible said. That's not what the Bible
And,
said.
you know, me,
Yeah.
a Jamaican born and raised.
Yeah.
You know, that was the thing. So that's why for me, I didn't come out until I was later on in life.
Yeah.
But I had to, like I said, go to therapy, seek counseling, make sure that I know that I'm comfortable in my skin, and know that love is. I think someone, I don't know who said it, but love is fluid, right? It's not just one pattern. God loves us all, and for me, if I'm attracted to somebody, it's just the attraction of who I love. It's not a matter of I'm not, but anything else.
Yeah,
I am upstanding. I got a good job. I am healthy. Like, but you're going to bring me all the way down because, like,
yeah. Because let's be clear, being gay is only one thing. It's just when it's time to be sexual, you like the same attraction.
Exactly.
But outside of that,
everything
is the same. You know, so it's
go
like
through love. We go through heartbreak.
Yes.
If we get married, there's divorces. There's cheating. There's like everything.
Also,
one thing that they focus on is the sexual part, which is
crazy.
The minimum part.
Yeah. And then we only do that past 12.
And the crazy part is we get it from all angles. So we get it from our brothers and sisters. We get it from other ethnicities. You know, we get it from every angle, and we still choose to lead in love. That should be. It should be an example of who we are. Being gay doesn't define us. No. It's just a part of us.
Yes.
And
I feel like it's being gay right now is such a massive movement, you know, and it's such a comfortable space now that the world have made it. You see it on TV, you see it on TV shows, you know, you see it a lot more. It's more closer to you now than it was back then. So I feel like people feel more comfortable now, you know, acting on those type of thoughts that they would normally just keep in their head.
Yeah, because it's more spoken of now. Back then, you know, you were closeted.
Yes.
You know, you didn't say anything. Right. Whatever transpired, it was done behind the scenes, and you know.
And I feel like you have apps now that made it more easier for you to act on those thoughts.
True, you know? But you also got to keep in mind some individuals still have that old school mindset. You know, they have that don't ask, don't tell mindset. So for them, it'll be a struggle because I mean that's all they know, and they're coming out later on in life. But for us, I think this era, this generation, we're taking the bull by its horns, and we're just taking control of our own lives.
We're doing more than opening the closet door, honey. We're kicking the hinges off.
We took the door off.
There is parades, there's
festivals.
There's there's a lot. Like for example, we're in Atlanta. Sunday Fun Day. You will see us at Piedmont. You will see us on the Beltline. Like,
we at the straight events. We everywhere.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
Like roaches.
No, we in the gym. And we acting out.
Yes. Shorts.
People are just looking at us like, excuse me, and I'm like, yes, excuse you. So it's like, you know,
it's more your face.
We're just comfortable and we're just telling people to go with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
We've had to deal with it for a long time. We've went years and generations without seeing representation of ourselves. So now we're just taking control of our lives. So we're here.
In your opinion, which do you think is more important, loyalty or love?
I think they come hand in hand. Because with love comes loyalty. If you love someone and you truly love them internally, not just surface level, if you internally love that individual, it comes with a sense of loyalty automatically. So for me, it comes hand in hand. I can't say I love you and I'm not being loyal to you.
Okay. I would say different, because what people don't know is loyalty has an expiration date. The problem is when you're the good person in a relationship, you tend to hold on a lot more than you should. But the reality is a person can be loyal to you for 5 years, but wake up one day and don't feel the need to be loyal anymore, you know? So I think that's a new perspective that I want to put out there. That I feel like loyalty has an expiration date.
Do you
Oh,
feel
when you
love
say-
have an expiration date?
Yes, because I feel like sometimes people be together for 15 years and then they wake up and they don't no longer love the person.
But is that an expiration date? Because granted, they may, as you stated, no longer love that person, but I guarantee if they leave that relationship, they're searching for love elsewhere. So does love have an expiration date, or do people?
Has an expiration date. Good point.
Has an expiration date on the person that they're
Yes.
I think it's the person. I would like to
Mhm.
say that. I
Yeah.
think it's the person.
and also I wanted to kind of explore a little bit of that one.
Mhm.
When it comes to loving a person for so long
Mhm.
and then waking up one day
Mhm.
and saying, I don't, you know, I really don't love this person, or you
Mhm.
find like an epiphany.
Mhm.
One of the things, like, that we have to do is we have to do those check-ins, right?
Mhm.
Like I said, love is hard. Love is a job, we said.
Mhm.
What do you do at your job?
Check in.
What do you do with your supervisor?
Check in.
You got those one-on-ones every week
Mhm.
or bi-weekly.
Mhm.
You get those promotions, right?
Mhm.
You get more responsibility.
Mhm.
It's hard.
Mhm.
Sometimes you retire, but sometimes you go up to the CEO level.
Mhm.
It is continuously
Monitoring and checking
monitoring
in.
and checking
Mhm.
in, doing changes.
Mhm.
I'm in one department for the first 2 years, and then I
Mhm.
switch over to this department,
Mhm.
but I'm still with the job,
Mhm.
right? So it's a matter of talking to your partner, doing those check-ins. What did your love language change?
Right.
Right?
Because people
They say we
change through
change,
time.
Mhm.
Yes.
people change. So it's
Mhm.
now, I want to still be with you. But I now have a new expectation,
Mhm.
and let's have that conversation.
Mhm.
Let's have that difficult conversation
Mhm.
to make sure that we are now, like you said, fulfilling your desires,
Mhm.
understanding your needs and wants. So, so people are not doing that, and
Mhm.
that's why after you see, you're seeing now these big names with marriages that's like after 40 years
Yes.
they're divorcing.
Mhm.
And me, I'm like,
That's
you're
crazy.
You've
you stayed 40
invested.
years
Yes.
and that's it.
Yes.
But now you're like, well, did you really work the 40 years
But
with
the
your
thing
marriage,
is,
right?
they
So
probably a lot of the times people don't even know that the partner felt a void in a certain area because you
Mhm.
never voiced it. If you don't voice your needs and your concerns, and how do you expect for somebody to know? We are not mind readers. You should always make sure you communicate that with your partner. I think you should check in once a month and say, "Hey, are you happy? Is there anything else you need me to do? Am I slacking on anything? Do you need me to do a little bit more in a certain area?" Just so you can make sure that you guys are always on the same page. Because usually when that happens, or when a relationship is on a down spiral, it's because you are on two different pages. And like I always tell you guys, if you don't grow together, you will grow apart. So it's always important for you to make sure that you guys are on the same page and make sure you're checking in, like my friend just said once again. So
And
check
that
it.
goes hand in hand to your statement earlier. Once you actually get to know an individual,
Mm-hmm.
you know when
Yes.
something is wrong.
Yes.
You know when they're uncomfortable. You know when they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
Although, especially in our community, it'll be a little harder because we're both men. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to get past that ego. But once you do, I can just look you in the eyes and know
Something's wrong. Yeah. Or like your behavior is changing. Yeah.
and you have to look at those things.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, listening as well. So having that conversation, but also being able to listen. It's just effective communication.
Uh-huh.
That's what it boils down to.
Okay. I think that was pretty good. So one more question. Okay, well, anything you wanna huh? Oh no. Politics though. How do we feel about Diddy? Let's talk about
Yeah,
Diddy.
let's talk about Diddy.
Yeah, let's talk about Diddy.
Woo!
So how do you guys feel about the Diddy situation?
Well, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows that he did the things that he did.
Mm-hmm.
We have video proof of the hotel incident. It makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying like the the system, you know, is great.
Mhm.
Like there still works, but if if you're doing this to women and men,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, you go down.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby,
Mhm.
any R. Kelly,
Mhm.
any of the future, like the and once I find out like maybe people I look up to, it's like,
Mhm.
well, I can separate the music from the person
Mhm.
because I enjoy the music.
Still, yeah.
Unfortunately, the music was created out of toxic, abusive events,
Mhm.
which I'm gonna separate to that individual,
Mhm.
right? He can stay there. I was watching something and they said I'm gonna send him some cucumbers and eggplant.
Man,
But my thing is,
But
what was you
yeah,
gonna do with 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Like that is crazy.
hey,
I think he used them during his parties.
But baby, that was a whole lot of.
But he have a whole lot of individuals
Oh,
apparently. But
Jesus. Not to mention baby oil. Who used baby oil? I'm not a baby oil girl.
What kind of lube is it? Water is
Baby, they said baby
No, it's
oil.
baby
It wasn't even
oil. It
lube. They
wasn't.
said baby
Oh,
oil.
baby oil.
That
Yeah.
stings. That burns. Oh my God.
I think I just put him in the same category as
I've
R.
never
Kelly.
Me neither.
They gave him so much power as long as he was on top of his game,
Mhm.
and I think that there's a financial aspect that, of course, we're not seeing.
Mhm.
But he definitely had people in his corner that have been paid off because too many people have looked the other way for far too long. And granted, he's the situation with Cassie and Don and those individuals. I'm also looking at the people that they don't name, like the
Mhm.
Mary J. Blige's,
Mhm.
the Lil Kim's,
How he did Usher.
Usher, like
Yeah.
uh, Justin Bieber. Like
Mhm.
it's too much
Mhm.
out there for everyone to have turned a blind eye. So
Mhm.
now that brings the question: well, what does he have on you?
Mhm.
Because you let him get away with it for far too long.
I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I'm never going to participate in the tear down of a black man, especially a successful black man. I have different opinions only because the situation is different, and I'm going to state my opinions right now. I feel like if you stay in a relationship for 11 years and a guy is putting his hands on you, can we have a real conversation here? Can you really be the victim if
Yes.
you stay
Yes.
for 11 years
Yes.
and he beats
Because
you?
there's different aspects to that. He could be threatening your family. He could be threatening to cause you harm if you
Mm-hmm.
choose to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen it. I've worked with mental health patients.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Do
very
you
much
feel like
so
money
possible.
played a role of why she stayed? Uh-huh.
I don't know if money played a role because she tried to leave before. So money wasn't a concern of hers.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to leave, and what did he do? She tried to leave in that video, and what did he
Mm-hmm.
do?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're constantly being abused, what do? You stay, and then you become a product of that situation.
And if you think about it, we don't know, we don't know the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your partner is a
Billionaire.
multi-millionaire, billionaire
Mm-hmm.
that has access to cops,
Mm-hmm.
access to like he can pay off
Mm-hmm.
whoever,
Mm-hmm.
get anything he wants.
Mm-hmm.
The people around you
Mm-hmm.
is at his beck and call, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we can have our opinions because we have that independence.
Right.
But if you were given or being like this portrayal of like success and you're really thinking, and then she did love him and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to. There's an aspect where she did love him and wanted to be there for him, but
Mm-hmm.
then the abuse and everything just got too much,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where now she could die.
Yeah.
And when you're living in fear, and that's why when it comes to victims that stay, I never, look down on them like,
Or
or
re-victimize them.
say like, hey, are you really a victim because you stay? But it's because of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Power.
who knows if they? I just recently saw a Netflix documentary like because this person left, the ex went and hired
A
his
hitman.
family to kill them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not necessarily you want to leave, but it's I mean you don't want to leave. It's just a matter of can you?
Yeah.
Will you be safe?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What is my next move?
I'm glad that we
So-
just touched on that because it helped me understand a little bit more on my perspective of where I was coming from.
Mhm.
Also, I want to touch too. Can we fault him for doing what everybody pretty much do, like fly people out, have sex with
We
them?
can fault him because you have to also keep in mind if we are flying an individual out, we're making sure they're of age. We're not hiding the fact that they're underage. We're
Mhm.
also not putting substances in beverages to have your way with them. So there's different avenues that we can take.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, yes, he did some things that people do on a regular basis.
Mhm.
However, it's the age limit. It's because at that point they can't really fully make a decision for themselves.
Mhm.
They're too young to do so,
Mhm.
or they're too intoxicated,
Mhm.
or whatever the case may be. So can they fully commit to a act
Mm-hmm.
when they're not in their right frame?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. It has to be the circumstance
Mhm.
of what is the environment.
Mhm.
Is it literally just a free call?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's in Atlanta, there's
A ton of,
a bunch
and
of
that's
them,
what I
right?
feel like. I'm like,
So
yeah.
and that's that.
And the girls be in the
But-
bathroom,
But
dude.
if you're bringing like underage individuals having like spiking drinks that
Yeah.
you're thinking it's
Yeah.
just a regular punch, but it
Yeah.
has all these different
Narcotics.
drugs in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, but then now that I'm in a relaxed, like I can't necessarily do anything, and then you're gonna now put yourself on me.
Yeah.
That is not okay.
Yeah.
And if you're having that every single time,
Mm-hmm.
with your $1,000, with your 1,000 baby oil, right? It's like
That's a lot. And they
Like,
said these
you
things
know.
will go on for days.
days.
And
I don't
I'm
know
like,
if I could do that.
I don't care. Let me tell you, you get a good hour and 30 minutes, baby. A good hour and 30 minutes. That's it.
And then you don't have control
Yeah.
because you really can't fight an individual off, so you have no control over what's being done to you.
Mm.
So that adds another layer to it. So it's like, yeah.
Well, I don't know what's his what would you say end goal is gonna be, but we don't know. It
Well,
looks
with
pretty
most
bad.
powerful people, they don't have an end goal because if you look at the Harvey Weinsteins
Mhm.
and the individuals who partook in those type of, there was no end goal.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
I can do what I want. I have the money. I have power.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do think he
it's a
abused
mindset.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And trust me, like Cat Willie, 2024 has been very interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and I think 2025 is just going to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to. We had the R. Kelly phase.
Mm-hmm.
We're having the Diddy.
Mm-hmm. We're
The
gonna see
next
who
person,
next.
we'll see who's
The
next.
next.
'Cause It's just whew,
They knocking him
because
down.
I guarantee you, Diddy is not going down by himself.
No, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's why he said that they said that he had secret recordings while these acts to kind of blackmail people to keep people from talking about it because he'll have to put it out if they have to.
But now he no longer have him. The feds have him. So now they know who's partaking in these activities.
Lord. Well,
Mm.
guys, that concludes the first episode of Feeling Myself, the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I really had a good time. Thank you so much, Romain, for coming. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much, Rakeem, for joining him. I really hope you guys had a good time on this podcast.
Definitely
Yes.
did. And thank you for having us.
By me, any means necessary.
Yeah.
So see you guys in the next episode. Bye.